because I never really, even with this process, I broke down into like childish, like kind of like, I want this now, like my own habits of how I acted. But so it's apparently breaking that, childish actions and, rewiring your, like, is it your kind of DNA and your habits?
Yeah. It's a meditation you can find in Mystical Motherhood, the book, and online. And it's an amazing meditation. And I've done it for like a year. And a lot of women I know, I do it 33 minutes a day and totally changed my behavior. So you just no longer, I mean, for me, if you have a hard childhood in any manner, shape, or form, even if you didn't and you think you did, which a lot of people think they did, it takes away that trauma. And so what the trauma does is you're stuck in time. And not only is the perpetrator still in your subconscious, but you are still in your, like, way back in that trauma. And so you link on to people, places, or ideas, like attachments to, like, a childhood attachment continues throughout your life. And I saw that when I did it, all of these created attachments I made with people specifically just went away.
Yeah. So it's like the neediness, or like the shit you worked out with, growing up, going through, like, is, it's still following you here, but you're breaking a pattern to not pass it on to the next.
Yeah, it's just the same issue played out. I mean, it's like life, unless you work on it. It's the same crap over and over and over with different people and places and items.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, how many lifetimes do you want to do that? And then when you realize how much time you're wasting, then it's like, why didn't I do this 25 lifetimes ago? I just feel that in my soul, But so what I want to go back to with this specific meditation. So I started as an infant with it, and then I moved up, and I'm now in college. And so this is taking me like 9 months to get to college, or almost a year. So you look at a picture at the end. Are you looking at a picture of yourself at the end?
Yeah. And it's about like 6, 7.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing you. It's like you're not, you chose a picture older.
Yeah.
So
I'm a child. I'm like a toddler, like around that age range.
Okay. So, and it's interesting because all of the emotions of that part of your life will come up to be healed when you're doing this meditation. And another thing you have to realize is all of these children, like even if you don't do this meditation, if you're listening, all of these parts of you need to, like the little girls in all of those places, they still need to be healed. So like if you were sexually abused or you were physically abused, the subconscious needs to have, like, that perpetrator or anyone who hurt you needs to go to parenting school. That person needs to go to, really needs to go and have some sort of consequences so that your subconscious can know that you're safe again. Like it's so important because, and to almost gather your soul back.
Yeah.
Because of all the places we've left parts of ourselves.
That makes sense.
Okay. So close your eyes.
Okay.
And then create the glass jar in front of you.
Okay.
And I want you to go to all of the different places where you were alone. And particularly they're starting with playing alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to think of the types of games you played. And usually it has to do with what you're going to do in the future. I mean, all the movies and the games and stuff is connected to really who you are. So give me all the times you felt like alone.
So I was alone a lot.
Yeah.
And it's just, I guess my parents were always busy, but I was always entertaining myself. I wasn't, I didn't have that like nurturing, like buying toys for. I also grew up, we didn't have a lot of money, but I definitely found ways to entertain myself. So literally, clearly, I was either outside on a jungle gym or playing inside with maybe one like doll I'd had, or my games and toys were very limited too. But I can always remember watching TV And it was I don't know if you remember DuckTales.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was my favorite show. Basically, that we could watch in American, there. Um, but it was a lot of outside and a lot of me watching like out the window from the kitchen window outside, especially like just like thinking like always like looking at other kids playing or like seeing what was going on. um and a lot of the toys, I think, like I said, we made up, like especially when we were at my grandma's house, like we always came up with a creative idea to make a swimming pool or play with like sticks, and we kind of had a different imagination of it. But um there's definitely me and a lot of my own imagination.
Which can be good or can be bad as you get older.
Yeah, exactly.
So any times you felt like you couldn't reach out to something bigger, and I mean, it's like what kids don't understand is they're constantly surrounded by angels or by other figures. They always are. And I mean, it's just the other day, my friend's daughter was playing with our phone and she clicked two photos and I opened up the photo and it was a little spirit. But that was in front of her orb system,
Right.
or I don't know whose, it doesn't matter, but it was as clear as day. Fingers were there holding this orb. But it's like, that's what's around us all the time. And we don't realize we're never alone.
And I think something with me is like when, if I get down or upset, right? I go down that road of being upset, why I'm upset, play victimhood, right? And then, right. And then something snaps and I always turn it around and go into like really positive mode. Like, I snap out of that, like consciousness of just going down this fucking hill of, negativity or whatever it might be.
And was that a new skill or is that an old skill?
It's always been an old skill, and I've developed it more now where I can switch it within like quicker.
That feels because it's like you were not from this country originally. And it kind of I mean, to me, when I hear that, it feels like it's like you got, I don't think that your mom had that as much as you, but it's like you got that by moving here.
My mom did not have that.
Yeah. It's like, but you had to have that for the family because it's like no one else had that.
No one has it. And even now, like, it's just so funny because like obviously now I can like, like Friday when I was really upset, like I let it happen. It was like what, maybe only like a good half hour, 45 minutes, right? Yeah. And after that, I was just like, okay, done.
Well, plus you have the ability and the power to switch to the positive mind, where most people are stuck in the negative mind, and it takes power and energy to switch to the positive mind. And the positive mind is the mind of creation.
Right.
So it creates like, my glass is full. I'm going to do this, this, this now, and this is what's going to happen.
Yeah. And like, but I feel like even like now looking back at it and thinking about it, I was, I never felt like a victimhood, like everything's going against me. Like I don't have what everybody else has, because like I don't, I mean, of course I was sad sometimes, but like just the emotion of changing that and making it into a positive, that's always been there.
Is there anything, you're saying you always had everything, but this little girl that, still lives in you,
yeah,
and she's alone in time and space, even when I feel like it's interesting. You said on the playground, I saw kids, but I even saw you on the playground, but you kind of would like play with them and engage with them, but then you would go play alone.
Mm-hmm.
And is there anything that you could give to this little girl back in time and space that would make her feel like not so isolated in life and that she has to do everything by herself?
So there's a part of me that likes the isolation. and a part of me that obviously, likes the interaction as well.